So what we're going to talk about today is inviting. Basically, the first thing everybody needs to learn when starting this business. It's usually the hardest thing to learn, and it's usually the reason most people quit. Because they either don't learn how to do it properly, or B, they're scared to do it, or C, they've tried it a couple of times and it didn't work because they did it wrong. And you know what? It's a heck of a lot easier to just fall off and stop trying than it is to continue to try and do it better and better. You know what? I'm going to actually talk about a couple of stories of people that were invited improperly. You know, Brian Morgan, who's not here, he was invited to see a presentation, and before this industry, he actually would never take a look at network marketing. He got invited perfectly by his friend, and his friend called him as he was on his way to the meeting and said, look, I can't just throw you into this deal like this. I gotta tell you, it's a network marketing presentation. And Brian was literally on his way to the meeting, and he said, hey, you know what, I was just gonna call you, and I can't make it now, but I'll try to make it another time. And so he turned around and went home. Made up an excuse on his way to the presentation. And what happened then was, he invited a few other guys. Actually, Brian Morgan's brother was one of those guys, and he went to the presentation. He loved it. He got signed up, and he called Brian and said, Brian, where were you? You know what? You should have been there. This thing is a real deal. This is a solid company. You know what? I never thought I'd like network marketing, but man, this is cool. Yeah. And Brian got started a couple of days later, and you know what? The rest is history. You know what? 2.5 years later, he's hitting top ranks in the company. He's doing it full time. He's done working the grind, the stonework, and pilot at Champion Air. He's done with that. You know, he did all the stonework at my business. An unbelievable, talented businessman. And he's a full-time network marketer making unbelievable money. He's in Vegas right now at a pool, and I'm jealous. You know, and another thing is I own Jersey's Bar and Grill. Some of you guys know that. And I actually had a couple of customers that got involved in the same business that I'm in, and they never actually approached me on taking a look at the business or anything like that. And I went to the presentation and I got started, and they actually found out from somebody else that I got started, and they're like, well, we're involved in that company. Right. And I said, well, why didn't you ever come and talk to me? How long have you been involved? They're like, well, like 6 months. And I said, man, you should have came and told me. I said, I'm open to taking a look.
A little bit of background on, you know, the inviting process. You know, first of all, a lot of people get started in network marketing and they say that they don't want to be salesmen or saleswomen with their friends and their family, and they don't want to shove products down their friends and family's throats. So obviously there is a process of sales that's involved in network marketing, and pretty much every other business or career or job that anyone works, there's a process of selling to someone involved in that. But what we're going to teach you how to do is become a professional inviter. This is a very old concept in network marketing, but it's a science that has to become an art. So we're going to go through steps of how to utilize your time efficiently and effectively, and set up appointments with people, whether it's online to view your company's presentation online, or whether it's in person. Maybe you want to go sit at a coffee shop and you want to show someone your opportunity. Maybe you want to bring them to an opportunity presentation, a biz op. There's multiple ways to show people what it is that you're doing. I'm sure your companies have DVDs. You can use the DVDs. You can use sales tools. Some companies provide sales letters. There's multiple ways to do this, but if you don't set the time up with somebody, you're never going to be able to expose them to what it is that you do. And if you can't get the exposure, you're not going to make the sale and find those builders. I'm a rookie in this business, and it's day one, and I'm really excited because, man, this is going to retire me. It's the best thing since sliced bread. I found the golden opportunity. So I'm super excited and I'm pumped up, and I'm going to call Bill. And this is the #1 mistake people make and why they end up quitting. Because I call Bill and I'm on the phone with Bill, and I'm like, Bill, you are not going to believe what I just saw. And I go into explaining my opportunity, and I give a presentation over the phone. I tell them about my products. First, I tell them about my company, and I say our comp plan's the absolute best in the industry, because I'm sure all of you say that, right?
Oh yeah.
And then you say, you know, this company is out of debt. They're going somewhere. The leaders are fabulous, and you're telling them everything about your opportunity. that everybody says, okay? You realize that. So I go and then I start telling about the products, and I start telling about, you know, how we can recruit other people and build a sales force, and how, you know, this is going to retire me, and it can retire you, and it can do all this stuff. And then Bill's just like literally wants to hang up the phone and delete my number in his phone. And, or put me in the do not answer list, okay? Or if you're telling this to somebody in person, they are going to want to run the other way.
Yep.
Okay?
And they will stop answering your phone call. And you know what? It's sad, and that's people they get the heartache, the stomach ache, and you know they quit because you know what, their friends aren't calling them back.
Yeah.
And that's the worst feeling in the world. You know,
It is.
And it takes a while. You know what? All of a sudden, a month later, you're starting to talk to them again, and you never bring up the company again. 6 months later, they might even ask you, well, are you still doing that deal? And
Yeah.
you're like, no, you know, it didn't work.
You start sharing information with people, and all of a sudden they go, oh, it's one of those things. That's what they're thinking in their mind. The minute you give them just that right wording or that tidbit of information, and they go, it's one of those things in their mind, immediately they think, this person needs me for success.
Yep.
This person needs me.